Hello, welcome to Cottage Grove Quilt Company. I am Christy Zawodniak, owner and operator of Cottage Grove Quilt Company. I am also a long arm professional and a certified instructor with Studio 180 Design. Thank you for choosing us as a consideration for your long arm quilting needs. If you choose to have us as your provider for long arm quilting, you can be assured that your quilt is in a safe, secure location in a non-smoke environment and only one dog who occasionally comes into the sewing room. This is how you measure your quilt. This quilt is a large quilt, so we folded it in half. So you can see there's two layers here folded right sides together, and you lay it out, and with your tape measure, you measure, and we've got 37.5 inches on the width. And then for the length, you do the same thing. Fold it in half because it's a big quilt. So we do lay it out, and then we measure, and we have 47.5 inches. So 47.5 times 2 is 95 inches long by 37.5 times 2. So this is 45 by 97. So when you select your quilt size, you need to be sure you're looking for a size that encompasses that length and that width. So how do you square up a back? If you notice on the web page, I say if you don't square up your back, I'll have to charge an extra fee. And the reason why is because it takes some time and effort to do that. So what you'll do is you'll put your salvage edges together and just get them as close as you can together, so they make a straight line, because your salvage is straight. And then what you will do is bring your folds up, and you're going to align your folds to the salvage edge. And you're going to make sure everything's straight and smooth. And like I said, it takes a little bit of effort and a little bit of work. And you want to be sure that there are no crinkles underneath and it lays completely flat. In fact, you may even need to iron your back some, just to get all the folds from when the fabric is put on a bolt out. So as you can see, it takes a little bit of effort to get this lined up. And once you get it all aligned, you can see that it's not straight. What happens is if you don't have a square back, it'll be really hard to keep your back squared to your quilt. In fact, you won't succeed. So you can see we've got some edging here and some edging on the other side. So just using your regular tools, your rotary cutter and your ruler, just trim that up and get it squared up. And again, it's very important that you do this. And then do the same on the other side. And you want to be sure you encompass the whole edge, because see here we've got about an inch overhang. So you want to be sure you get that whole inch. Whoops. And then once you've done that, you want to take it and just fold it the other direction and repeat the process, just to be sure you've got it completely square and completely flat. And when you're using these big pieces of fabric like this, it is a bit of a challenge. So you can see why when you're doing this for a large king quilt, it can take some effort. So again, you want to get all of your salvages straight and your folds straight. And then once you've done that, you'll be able to trim off the parts that aren't squared up. Again, you've got these little folds here, so you just got to work them out. Okay, so see we've got, again, some overhang here. So you want to get it to where you can cut it easy. You want to be sure to use your cutting safety as best as you can. Line it up. And this is probably one of the harder parts in getting a quilt ready to go to a long arm quilter, and that is getting it all lined up and squared up. Now I can go through this many layers because the type of blades I use in my rotary cutter. I use the Olaf Endurance blades, but if you don't have a new blade or a very good quality blade, going through this many layers can be a bit of a challenge. And that's how you square up a back. How to order online. It's very simple. You go to the Cottage Grove website, www.cottagegrovequilt.com, and select Order Long Arm Quilting. And from here, you select quilt size. And then when you come up, you select the size of quilt you want. So for the size we were working on, we need a full size. So we click there, and you add it to cart, and then return to the order page. And then you want to select your pattern. And in here we've got hundreds of patterns to choose from. So for this one, we're going to do kind of a modern pattern. And let's pick Vortex. We say add to cart. And then return to order page. Then we're going to choose our thread. And since this is a white quilt we're working on, let's use white thread. And we're going to say add to cart. Click here to return. And then we're going to pick our batting. For the type of batting for this, we're going to use bamboo. Bamboo is a very lightweight batting, and it keeps you cool in the summer and warm in the winter. And so since this is a full-size quilt, we need to pick full-size batting. Add to cart, return to order page. And if you need backing, then you select backing. And we'll just pick a fun pink, and we're going to have to select our size. So we're going to do full and add to cart. And then when you're done, you can click on your cart. And in here is all of the items, and you just walk through and pay with your credit card as you normally would through any other online sources. So now that you have learned how to order online with Cottage Grove Quilt Company and how to square up your back, let me briefly go over the process with you. How this will work is once you complete your order online, you will receive an order number from Cottage Grove Quilt Company and a confirmation email. And you will also receive a shipping label. With that shipping label, you will box up your quilt top and your backing if you are including it, and you will send that via United States Postal Service to Cottage Grove Quilt Company. Upon receipt of your quilt, we will notify you via email that your quilt has been received. Once it is received, you will then use your reference number as a point of reference to check our calendar and queue. The calendar and queue is where you can see where your quilt is in the process and when it comes up for long arm quilting. Upon completion, we will then email you and let you know your quilt is completed, and we will provide you a tracking number, and you can track your order being returned to you via the U.S. Postal Service. Thank you for considering Cottage Grove Quilt Company for all of your long arm quilting needs.